This is the Shanice Lewis Show, the #1 podcast for plus-size women. With your host, the queen of curvy conversation, Shanice Lewis.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Shanice Lewis. Today is Monday, November 26th. 2018. Make sure you're following the show's social media pages on Facebook at The Shanice Lewis Show and on Instagram and Twitter at Shanice Show. You can also subscribe and listen to the show on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcasting app. Today we have a very special guest. Farrah Estrella is an award-winning Latina plus-size fashion, beauty, and lifestyle blogger. A native of the Dominican Republic, she previously wrote for Examiner.com and made her blogging debut on the Estrella Fashion Report in 2012. She has been featured in fashion segments for CNN Latino Tampa, Telemundo Tampa, and Mira TV. Farrah modeled for Ashley Stewart's Fall 2016 campaign for extended sizes, showcasing top plus-size bloggers, and has worked with major brands such as Lane Bryant, Avenue, and Catherine's. Named Blogger of the Year in 2015 by the Fashion Movement in Tampa, and Blogger of the Year again in 2016 by Full Figure Fashion Week, she offers a unique voice in the industry. Let's welcome Farrah to the show. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
I'm excited to talk to you. Now, I didn't know this, but you started your career as a model. Now, tell us how you got started in the industry that way.
Actually, I was a straight size model when I was living in the Dominican Republic. So I started modeling as a young teenager, like maybe I was 8 or 9, so like I was 14 or 15. Then I didn't move to the United States until I was 17, and I kind of put that on the back burner. I just kind of, I did a few things once I moved to the United States, like I worked for JCPenney, and I did a few jobs here and there, but I didn't really pursue it, and I just kind of put that in the back burner until, fast forward until I started, decided to what, I want to go back into fashion, but I didn't want to model. I honestly didn't even know that there was a whole plus-size modeling industry. At that point, I was already plus size, so I just started the blogging thing until I discovered, Full Figure Fashion Week.
So before you started blogging, you were writing for the Examiner. Now, when did you discover that you enjoyed writing, and what type of things did you write for the Examiner?
I've always been a writer. I always had my own journals and things like that. So I always loved to write. I always had a goal. Like I always said when I was little, I always want to write a book, but I never really did it, for anybody to read my stuff. So when I decided, I wanted to go back into the fashion industry, I didn't know exactly where I fit in. I was like, well, I heard about this blogging thing, and I was like, you can write and you can, write about fashion, which is two things that I really enjoy. So I got that opportunity to write for Examiner, which is like an online sort of newspaper type thing. And so I was their local Tampa Examiner, and I was doing just covering fashion events, just writing about anything fashion related that was local to Tampa, but I could also write about anything that I basically wanted. So that kind of got me started, and then I decided to open my own blog.
So you mentioned that earlier in your career when you started modeling, you were straight size. Now, when you transitioned from straight size to plus size, did you have a difficult time with your body image?
I think so, especially in the Latin community, we are still not, even though Latinas are very curvy, we're still not very accepted as, plus size women. It's not like an acceptable thing. Everybody wants to tell you, oh, you're not healthy. You need to lose weight. It's like, like you don't want to accept the person for who they are. Even though our grandmas, our aunties, our cousins, everybody's plus size.
Right.
So yeah, it's it's a little bit of a taboo, I guess. But again, things are changing. But I've always accepted my body. One of the things that I can relate to everyone, which is kind of what I love about blogging, is that I've been every size. Like I'm a size 24 now, so I've been from a size 2 all the way to a size 24. So I've been every size, and I feel like I can relate to every woman just because of that.
Right. So when you started your blog and started writing about plus size fashion and entered the plus size community, was it also a way to help you become comfortable in your new plus size body as well? Being around supportive people and supportive events?
Yes, it was. And actually, when I started writing, what my blog is not specifically about plus size fashion, it's about fashion in general. I do write a lot about plus size fashion because obviously I'm a plus size woman. But when I first started, I wasn't really writing about plus size fashion because I didn't know anything about plus size fashion at all. I was just writing about things that I liked, that I enjoyed, shoes and, handbags or jewelry, just different things in fashion industry. But I had a friend who told me about Full Figure Fashion Week in New York, and I was like, what is that? What is Full Figure Fashion Week? And she's like, oh, you're going to love it. It's about plus size fashion. I'm like, what? So I went with her to New York. I didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away. The first year that I went, that was maybe 6 years ago. I was blown away by the whole experience, and I was like, oh my God, that's when I discovered that there was a whole plus size industry, to be written about. And I was like, oh my God, I have so much to tap into. So I learned a lot about the industry. I met a lot of models, designers, and then that's when I started adding the plus size fashion into my blog, incorporating it. And yes, it did help me also with my own image. I mean, it's been 6 years now since I started that, and it's been amazing.
So some people feel you have to live in New York or LA to be relevant in the industry. Now, how were you able to launch your brand successfully living in Florida?
That's a big misconception. I think that a lot of people think, oh, you have to be in New York, like you said, or LA, or a big city, and that's not true. I work from Florida. I live in Tampa, and I don't plan to move. I mean, I work with all these brands, and I work from here. I make it work. I try to, of course, I travel to New York if I have to. And one of the reasons is, if a brand wants to work with you, they will fly you in. They will fly you to New York, put you up in a hotel, and if they want to really work with you. And, you can also work remotely from where you at. So I basically try to cultivate my local fashion industry here in my city. And then I was like, you know what, I kind of conquer my local city, then let me move on to, Miami, and then trying to span to other cities. But you can be wherever you are. Trust me, it doesn't matter where you are. If a brand wants to work with you, they will work with you.
And what about attending events to network? Because if you travel everywhere, that can be very expensive. So how do you navigate where you choose to participate?
It can be. It really can be. But it's a wonderful experience. Like, I will definitely encourage anybody to go to events, conferences, especially in the plus industry. There are so many events, like in Atlanta, the Curvy Fashionista Style Expo, Full Figure Fashion Week, CurvyCon, all these things. They're amazing. It's worth the money because you're investing in your brand, and you are connecting with, the brands that are in your industry, with influencers, and the people that work in your industry. So it can be costly, but you can choose, pick and choose where you go, and maybe one year you go to an event and the following year you go to another. But it's definitely a big investment, but it's worth it. It has been worth it for me as well.
One of the things that make your blog stand out is that you not only blog about plus size fashion, but mainstream fashion, as you mentioned as well. And I guess it makes sense since you used to model for straight size designers. Do you find that some of your plus size readers sometimes don't understand how you're a fashion blog for all sizes and you like all types of fashion, because sometimes the plus size readers don't like the thin models posted.
I understand that. But, I've been really lucky. Everybody has been really respectful, at least everybody that has followed me. And obviously, you get every once in a while, you get someone who said, oh, she's too skinny. Don't put that in there. I'm like, no, we don't do that here. But I've been very blessed. And I feel like fashion is inclusive. Fashion is for everybody. And I guess because of my experience, having been every size and having friends of all different sizes, like not all my friends are plus size, not all my friends are skinny. So I want everybody to be included. And, one of the things that as plus size women we always talk about is like, oh, they don't include us in Vogue, or they don't include us in Elle, and they don't include us here. Well, we don't include them either. So, I mean, and I understand that they are, we do need that niche. It's necessary because we need that hub. We need for us to be able to go to a certain place and find things that are all about us. And I get that, but, there are other blogs that are dedicated to that, So mine is more inclusive. I feel like, fashion needs to be more inclusive. And, I enjoy that. I enjoy all types of fashion. I love seeing beautiful women, whether they're skinny, they're bigger, they're plus. I don't mind. I'm not judging them like, oh, you're too skinny, or you're too fat, or you this, or you're too curvy, or you too that. That's not me. If I see something beautiful, it's beautiful. Whether you are size 2 or you are size 24, you are size 30. Like, to me, if it's beautiful, you're going to be on my blog because I want to share. I want everybody else to see it.
Right. Now, you've mentioned how attending Full Figure Fashion Week was very instrumental in introducing you to the plus community and moving your career forward in the plus industry. And in 2016, you won Blogger of the Year at Full Figure Fashion Week after blogging for only 4 years. So were you shocked when you got that honor?
I was, I was really surprised, but I was totally honored. And, I feel like, my hard work really paid off. I worked really hard to just not only, write about plus size fashion, but also to include, other designers, other influencers, and try to cover events and do them justice. That's one of the things I love about attending Full Figure Fashion Week is to just be able to share the whole experience with everybody and for everybody to see it through my eyes. Full Figure Fashion Week has been instrumental to my career. I will always be grateful to Gwen DeVoe and Sharon Quinn and everyone in their team who created this amazing event and to give us a voice and an opportunity. I mean, I was incredibly humbled by it and just really, really appreciative.
So you've been able to, build a great brand in Florida as a plus-size blogger. Do you feel the plus industry is putting too much focus on social media followers? And do you feel pressure to have more followers?
Well, I've been really lucky that, I don't have a ton of followers. I have, I think, 14,000 followers maybe on Instagram, but it's been organic. It's been something that I never had to buy followers. I will never do that. And I understand for brands, it's important for them to work with influencers who have a large following. But to me, I'd rather have a smaller following, more dedicated following, and know that everyone is paying attention to me and looking to what I'm doing, than to have a large following that nobody knows me. Or in the case where I've seen where some girls have, let's say they have 100,000 followers, but 90% of them are men. They're only there to look at them or what they're wearing and things like that. And so when you work with a brand, how is that beneficial to a brand? Are these men going to buy for their wives? I mean, what are the chances that that's going to happen? I mean, are they there because they're really interested in the fashion and it's going to move forward? It's going to help or benefit your brand or their brand. So it's very tricky. This social media thing is very tricky, but I'm not really focusing on that. I'm just kind of doing my thing. I'm just being me and just kind of trying to take my blog to the next level. Obviously, that's important. I'm not going to say that it's not. It really is, but it's more about connections. It's more about the connection that you have with your followers, and really, how many followers you have. Because honestly, I work with all the bigger plus size brands, just like, with my little 14,000 followers. And, I've seen other bloggers that have 500,000, and we both work with the same brand. So,
right.
Obviously in different capacities. So it doesn't really matter. I feel like it's just about your brand also, that's important. Would this brand want to work with you, So are you putting good content out there that they want to work with you, regardless if you have 2 followers and, somebody else has 500,
And putting yourself on social media with your fashions and your lifestyle, do you feel that bullying happens on social media? Have you experienced any bullying or negative experience with the social media?
I have. Obviously, I feel like everybody at some point has experienced that. Not as much as other people. I didn't intentionally, originally wanted to put myself out there with the outfits and things like that. That just kind of evolved. My blog is more about fashion news, and I want to share with everybody what's happening, new designers, what's happening here, new events, things like that. And then it just the whole outfit thing just kind of came out of, people asking me, well, what are you wearing? Well, you wear this place, and, I like that dress that you were wearing. So I was like, okay, well, let me just make it a whole post so that everybody can just read it. So once you start putting yourself out there, obviously you find that there's so many negative people, and bullying, and they want to tell you, that you're too fat. Like, we don't know that we're fat. Like, we don't see ourselves in the mirror every day, or, they want to insult you and things like that. And at first, it's kind of hurtful a little bit, but then it's like, okay, you kind of get cured, and you're like, okay, I'm moving on. You're miserable with your life, and it just seems like a lot of people are miserable to see, or unhappy to see, fat women being happy and being themselves. And, there's nothing wrong with us taking care of ourselves and looking pretty and wanting to look good. And one of the things that I've always said to my friends is, regardless what size you are, I can decide to lose weight and, go down to a size, I don't know, I will never go a size 2, but, maybe a size 8 or 10 tomorrow, and still be as happy as I am today in a size 24. So, it's about taking care of yourself and taking pride in how you look. If we were plus size and then we're looking frumpy, then people will still be talking about, oh, you're looking frumpy, or you're looking bad, or you're looking this. So
right.
You can never win. So either way, just make yourself happy. And, I don't worry about the bullies. I don't allow that on my blog anyway. The moment that, I see somebody trying to bully or trying to, speak ill about somebody, I will just block them, because I don't play with that.
Good. And you have modeled for Ashley Stewart. So you were in the Ashley Stewart Fall 26 campaign for extended sizes. Now tell us how that experience was.
Oh, that was so great. I want to thank Madeline Jones, the editor of Plus Model Magazine, for that. She kind of organized the whole shoot, invited us, me and a few other bloggers, to participate, and that was really exciting. I haven't really modeled plus size fashion or anything, so I was really excited. And I love Ashley Stewart. They have really cool, trendy clothes, and it was a great experience to be on set and getting pampered and getting my makeup done and hair. It was really exciting.
And the campaign was specifically to promote the extended sizes for Ashley Stewart. Do you think there is size discrimination within the plus industry, and there needs to be more diversity?
I feel like there is, and one of the things that I love about that campaign is obviously Ashley Stewart carries up to a size 32. Most plus size models that you see online or in catalogs and things like that are either size 14, size 16. But, they do sell up to a size 32, not specifically them, but, a lot of brands do. And then all the models are usually in the lower end of the plus industry, So that was kind of great about that campaign, because because we were all different sizes. I was a size 24. And so, if you cater to a bigger size, why not have, bigger size models so that people can see what the clothes look like? And I feel like that's kind of the gap that bloggers are feeling in the industry. And that's one of the reasons why bloggers, plus-size bloggers, have made such a big difference in the industry, because we are showcasing the clothing in our bigger bodies, something that brands are not doing, or a lot of brands are not doing, not specifically I should say, but a lot of brands are not doing. And so when they, when the consumer sees the clothes on us, they're like, okay, well, if it looks good on Farrah, who's a size 24, and I'm a size 32, I think I can rock that. Or, if I'm close to her size, then, I know that it's going to look good on me. And I speak that for myself because I follow other bloggers, when I see that, and I'm like, okay, great. If it looks good on her and she's bigger than me, or she's a little bit smaller than me, I know it's going to look good on me. So going back to your question, yes, I do believe that there is some type of discrimination, just because I feel like the brands feel maybe a little pressure as to not, use bigger bodies for their campaigns, which is wrong. But I feel like they will be very successful if they do. But it's hard to say, why they don't do it.
Do you think there's also size discrimination within the blogging world? Do you think the smaller plus-size bloggers get more opportunities and campaigns?
Not necessarily, no. I feel like it's pretty even when it comes to, working with brands. I feel like the process brands in that sense, when it comes to bloggers, are pretty fair. They work with everyone regardless of their size. It's just a matter of aesthetic, whether it fits their brand or not, they wouldn't, there are certain companies that approach me, and I'm like, you know what, no, I can't, I have to deny you, I can't really work with you, because that's not really my aesthetic. It's not something that I would do, I'm not going to wear a mini skirt or bodycon dresses all over the place. Like, that's not my style, So right. Even though, just like I wouldn't choose to work with that brand, there are certain brands that wouldn't choose to work with maybe a certain blogger. And it has nothing to do with the size. It has to do, I feel, in my opinion, with the aesthetic. Does this fit the brand? It's just something that they would, just like I'm sure there's a lot of brands that wouldn't want to work with me. They're like, what, no, that's not, she's too conservative. Or, we don't like the way she looks or whatever, So it's I feel like that's how it is. But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't experienced this, so I'm just speaking from my experience. Maybe other people have, but I haven't really experienced that.
What advice would you give to someone trying to break into the industry but don't really feel supported?
Interesting. Well, I mean, in what way wouldn't they feel supported? Because, I mean, you do have to reach out and support also, other people.
Right.
You have to make yourself available. You have to also attend events. You have to share other people's stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know in what way they wouldn't feel supported, but, I mean, it's a mutual thing. So you have to, in order for people to support you, you have to support them. So, but you also have to have something, have to have a unique voice. You have to have something unique that you're bringing to the table. You don't want to be like everybody else or do what everybody else is doing. So what makes you stand out, and, I feel like everybody will pay attention to what you're doing once you're doing something different, and not like what everybody else is doing.
And that's important. I want to reiterate what you just said. You have to support people in order to get support. Sometimes it works two ways, because some people never support anybody, never, share anything, never comment on anything, but just want all the support for their projects.
Absolutely. And, that's another thing, and attending events and, things like that, that's also important, and I understand events are expensive, but I speak for myself. Like this year, I was not able to go to any events at all, but, but I supported them for the past 7 or 8 years. I've been to every event that I could. So, if 1 year I'm not able to go, I hope, I don't get penalized for that or blackballed because I was not able to go to certain events or things like that. But, but you do have online support. You can still share other people's stuff. You can still comment on their stuff, like their stuff. congratulate them, even if not publicly, but also privately. Reach out to them and be like, yo, I'm proud of you, or we never know what other people are going through. Sometimes, people are going through ups and downs in their own lives. So it's hard to judge and it's hard to say, oh, this person never supports me without you, reaching out and say, are you okay? What's going on? I haven't heard from you in a while. So, it's also, I don't judge anybody because I don't know what anybody is going through,
Right.
So it's hard to say. But you're right about that. Support is very crucial.
Yeah. So do you, well, I don't know if you've done this before. Have you used your blog to be a media sponsor for events? Because a lot of bloggers, they only post outfit posts, but you actually write, and you can write about events, cover events, write about campaigns. So is that something that you've done? Are you interested in doing media sponsorship for people?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I've done it a few times actually, and I've been asked as well. It's just that it hasn't kind of worked out where I'm able to travel to the event. But I have done that. I don't mind. I love covering events. That's one of my favorite things ever. Only because that's how kind of got started, with Examiner, and I opened so many doors for me. Like, they were giving me press passes to go to all these different fashion events, and I love it. So I love attending events, not only because I like the live experience, but I also love meeting people, talking to people. Like, I'm a very people person, so I love being in person, shaking hands, and I feel like having that personal connection is more important to me because I can relate to you later on. It's nice when you comment on someone that you don't know, like some influencer that you saw online and you really like, but when you actually meet them and you shake their hands and make that connection, it's a lot easier to follow them, and you'll feel more connected to them. So that's why I love attending events. I love doing that, and it's certainly something that I would love to do more in 2019.
So if somebody is interested in having you as a media sponsor for their event or has a project and would love for you to write about it and cover it, how can they reach out to you?
Oh, yeah, they can certainly email me. I have all my information on my website. I don't know if, I'm able to say it here or not, but yeah, they can certainly email me, estrellafashionreport@gmail.com. That's my email. So they can also reach out to me. I'm very good at answering messages, Messenger, Instagram, and then we take it from there. We can take it to the email. So you can be like, hey, I got this event. Send me a message. I'm like, yo, okay, email me here, and, we'll take it from there. So I'm very good about that. You can, anybody could reach out to me, and, if I can do it, I'll do it. And if I can, I can, So, but definitely reach out to me, and, and it's something that, also has to fit my brand, It's also that
right.
I'm not going to say I'm going to support every single event, but, yeah, reach out to me, let me know, and, and I'll look at it and see, because like I said, I'm not going to support someone just because. It has to be something that comes from my heart. It has to be something that I love, and that it also fits my brand, so that it's not off and people are like, whoa, why is this person going to, this weird type of event? Like, okay, that's not like her. So it's got, like I said, it's got something that fits my brand and that I'm passionate about. If I'm not passionate about it, I can't do it.
So what is the ultimate goal with your career and your brand?
And, it changes so much. It really does. Like, since I started, like, when I first started, my goal was to cover events and maybe have a magazine. And, obviously magazines are going down now, so that's definitely not a goal anymore. But just to grow, I really love what I do. I enjoy what I do. I just want to be able to continue to do it full time as a job, and just continue to, encourage women to take care of themselves, look beautiful, be positive, and, no matter what size they are, just continue to, be themselves and not, wait until they lose weight to live their life, because that's not right. We all have to look beautiful. We are doctors and nurses and lawyers, and we all have to look good, wherever we go. And the everyday woman, we have to look great. So they just want to encourage everybody to be positive and live their lives, you know, and not let weight, you know, hold them back and be like, no, I can't do this because I'm too big, or no, I can't do that. Like, no, I don't want them to think that way. So if my blog encouraged them to pursue, you know, their passion and be positive and feel good about themselves, then that's really one of my goals right now.
So do you have anything else happening that we can be out on the lookout for, or anything else we should know that's coming up?
Well, you know, 2019 is going to be really interesting. I really want to collaborate with a lot of bloggers. I want to do more, blogger collaborations, because I feel like I want to introduce a lot of people to my local area here in Tampa. Like, a lot of people tell me, oh, who are these, you know, who do you follow? Who are these other bloggers? Like, they may be known in New York and California, but maybe a lot of people here in Tampa don't know. And also in the Latin community, you know, there's still a lot of people that don't know who they are, or, you know, what the Curvy Fashionista is about, or the Expo or Full Figure Fashion Week. So I want to introduce all of my Latinas to these to all of these amazing events, all of these amazing bloggers and influencers. So I definitely want to do more interviews and more collaborations for 2019. And, I'm hosting events also. I have a few events already lined up for 2019 that I want to be hosting, which I love. Like I said, I like to be, meet people where they are, which is great. So I'm collaborating with a few brands and hosting some events. What else? Oh, and you know what? I really have stepped up my outfits and my photography. I'm working with a great photographer locally here in Tampa, and we're doing some great projects for 2019. So, yeah, just stay tuned. I got a lot of things, a lot of ideas coming up.
Well, that's exciting. So tell us your official website and social media pages so we can keep up with everything you have going on.
Yeah, definitely follow me at www.estrellafashionreport.com. Estrella is Estrella, fashionreport.com. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Estrella Fashion Report, and on Twitter at Estrella F Report.
Okay, so I was pronouncing it wrong. It's not Estrella, it's Ya at the end.
Yeah, it's a Spanish. Yeah, it's a Spanish name. Estrella means star in Spanish, and that's my last name, Estrella. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Continued success with everything you have going on. And I got to get out to Florida soon to see what you're doing out there.
Yes, definitely. You're more than welcome to. I love hosting you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And all the best to you. Congratulations on the #1 podcast for plus-size women and plus-size fashion. I'm really happy for you, and congratulations on everything.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you to my guest today, Farrah. I've been your host, Shanice Lewis. Thank you for tuning in and supporting. Until next time, keep thriving in your curves and be blessed.
You've been listening to The Shanice Lewis Show. For more info about the show, visit ShaniceLewisShow.com.